Are you going to do it? Hello, folks. You want to go up? Hello, folks. All right, we're getting ready to get started. If y'all want to find a seat or find a wall, we're getting ready to get started here, folks. Mayor Gregory, your election's not till the fall. If you'll just step back. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Before I say what I have to say, thank you all for coming. I'd like to introduce our president of Rsba, Mr. Matt Smith, if you want to come up and start the program, sir.
I'd like to welcome everybody here on behalf of the RSBA. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this amazing turnout tonight. I'm really happy with our community that we had such a large turnout for this. I would like to thank the people that actually put on this show, which is Stan Mullins, Barry probably went to the back, right here, so Barry. These are the two that really put it on. Greg Milby. Really appreciate all his work and effort in the technology and setting this up for us. So what I want to do to start this out, I'm going to have everybody stand and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. I would like to introduce Barry. Barry is the one that has the passion for this so that these members have a voice and that you know what their stance is. His tireless effort on this has been amazing. So as Barry is our political forums coordinator, I'm turning it over to you, sir.
Here we go. Before we get started, it's important to go ahead and disclose to you my qualifications. I don't have any, and so you're probably going to get what you paid for tonight. I told him I needed about 25 minutes to do this. Stan told me I had 2. That's probably not going to happen either, so here we go. Some thank yous. Mayor J.J. Duvall. Please. You give JJ a call and you tell him what you want to do and what you're working on, and the response is, how can I help you? That's good stuff. It falls down the line to his people. Parks and Recreation Director Tim Jeffries, available by phone, please. What do you need? What can we do? We'll meet. Volunteers to sit at the table and help with the technology. So that's what's great about being in a small town, and you guys all know that. Kenny Rambo, Greg Milby, Stan gives them a call, Kentucky's Heartland. Would you like to be involved in this? Of course, yes. What can we do to help? All at once, we went to a whole different level. I mean, you're gonna see me holding up church fans. That's about as technological as I get. For a timer, things got really different when they got involved, and we appreciate that. Matt Smith, our new president, right there, of the RSBA. When you get older and you're in an organization, you start to think, what's going to happen? You know, is there going to be any new blood coming? What's the deal? And then all at once, somebody shows up, and they have passion, and they have enthusiasm, and they bring in their friends to join, and all at once, you've got something going again, and that feels very good. So I appreciate what Matt's done with the RSBA. Thank you, Matt. Want to thank the candidates. Abe Lincoln talked a ton about how important candidates were in being citizens and running for office. Thank you to all the candidates that are running. I can't get out of here without saying thank you to the volunteers. There's a ton of volunteers here. You called them and they said, how can we help? What can we do? Unpaid citizen volunteers in this kind of thing is what makes America work best. And we're thankful to those. You can give those people a round of applause that helped with that. Why does the RSBA do these political forums? President Barack Obama said, my favorite saying of his by far, elections have consequences. Right on, they most certainly do. We all want the best qualified people. We're all hoping that voters will get engaged when you do this kind of thing. And here comes a shameless plug, okay? We're being told that the RSBA is doing really well at this forum thing. Well, who's telling us that? The NAACP has said that there's a lot of good stuff here. I'm just going to cut to the bottom. Thank you for your commitment and passion for serving our community. That's good. That's great encouragement. You can tell I make sandwiches for a living. Okay. This week in the News Enterprise, the editorial board, Ben Sharon, wrote the following about the RSBA. In addition to its continued efforts to promote, support, and improve the lot of entrepreneurs and their local businesses, the organization has become a primary source of reliable local information through its well-organized forums. Again, more encouragement, and we appreciate it. I'm closing in. I'm coming in for the landing. Here we go. Why did 22 out of 22 candidates say yes when we called? Here we go. Because they recognize the following. 2/3 of all new jobs created in the United States are created by small business. Go ahead, you can say it if you want to when we get there. Voters prefer 3-to-1 candidates who support small business. Pew Research Center says the most trusted institution in the United States is small business. That's great, y'all did good. That's good. That's why they came. They recognized that, so they said yes. Okay, moving toward what we're getting ready to do. This is for the May 17th primary. These guys, the election happens for these guys on May 17th. It's over. They don't go to the general. Stan is going to talk to them. I'm going to introduce Stan in just a moment. After that, we've got 3 races where I believe we have 8 people here that have come tonight. They get to do 3-minute stump speeches. That's going to happen right after we're done with the Judge-Executive Candidates. So, right now, it's time to introduce a gentleman when he's not doing a really great job moderating political forums. He moonlights as a representative for the modern woodman of America. So, come on up, Stan Mullins. And he said, grab your water. And he said, go get your church fans. You're going to be the timer.
Hello and welcome all Hardin County residents and all guests. I'm Stan Mullins, and I will be your forum moderator tonight, and I'm very excited to be so. Thank you so much for the opportunity to the RSBA. We have 3 candidates here running for the position of Hardin County Judge-Executive. They are Mark Barrett, Daniel London, and Keith Tall. And I'm really thankful that we're all able to make it and commit and be here, and I'm very excited for what our main event may offer for information and going forward and deciding how we're going to vote come May 17. As a fair alert to the candidates, some questions asked tonight may not directly apply to the job description of Judge Executive. Nevertheless, whoever is elected as our top official in our county will wield a lot of influence. So please answer with this in mind. There will be a 1-minute opening statement by each candidate. And at the end of, we close the forum, there will be 2 minutes allowed for closing statements from each candidate. After that, we'll have stump speeches that will go forward for about half an hour there. As far as our timekeeping, when I begin the questions, we're going to rotate between the candidates, and there's going to be 90 seconds allowed for an answer. Now, Barry's got these flags here. The 30 seconds, the yellow, it will indicate that you have 30 seconds remaining. The red means it's time to stop immediately, okay? So, and Greg Milby has the technology to make that happen, okay? So, and at this time, this is a little different. I'm going to give each candidate a copy of the entire list of questions that I may ask, and not in necessarily the order that they're in. So let me do that. We're going to begin tonight with a question directed first to Mark Barrett. Mark, tonight you are here before the Small Business Alliance and many small business supporters. Do you have a small business connection, and why should small business supporters vote for you?
Well, at this time, I don't have a small business. I have had in years past. I believe that people should vote for me as small business people because of that, and the fact that I know how much struggle it can be to start a business, whether alone keeping it going. Now, with the economic times going on, more than ever, people are watching their money. We have to take and make it easier for businesses to stay alive by keeping taxes down, by keeping revenue up for people, by limiting everything we can for them.
Okay. Mr. London, same question.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the RSBA for putting this on. I'm absolutely excited to be here today. Second thing, and I hope Keith won't take exception to me saying this, he and his family suffered a fire last night at their house, and I conveyed to him earlier that he is in our prayers. There are certain things in life that transcend politics and personal things, and this certainly is one of those. You're in our prayers, and I ask all my supporters, particularly here tonight, please keep his family in prayer as they go through that challenge. I will say I am a small business owner. In fact, I was able to start my own small business right here in Radcliff. My first small business was Huddle House here in Radcliff. I know what it's like to have to meet a payroll. I know the challenges of it. I continue that small business portfolio that I have, and so I understand the struggles that 90% of the economy and small businesses face each and every day. One of the key things for us in government is to make sure that we help you by keeping taxes low. And one of the things I've worked on as Deputy Judge Executive in almost 5 years is to bring in additional revenue that is not tax related. So this is revenue optimization over taxation. Bringing in revenue through savings, 15 public-private partnerships that we've been able to secure with Hardin County government that brings in additional revenue. That means we can provide services, pay raises, augment services without having to raise taxes. That's what you get with me in your leadership, and I will continue that, and I want to build on that momentum to make sure that we continue down that road.
Mr. Tall.
Does this thing work?
Yes.
Well, first of all, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate those comments. It was a kind of an exciting night last night and today, but it did bring, I'm already a big fan of people that serve in the emergency services And if we could do anybody that's involved, their families in emergency services in any way, firemen, especially after last night, would you stand and let's give you a hand, please? Thank you very much. It really brought it home last night. The fire department there in Highway 86 was there in 5 minutes. It was amazing. So just to comment about the small business, yes, of course I grew up on a farm. Currently we are trying to farm about 50 acres of organic hay, and I'm not saying that we're making a lot of money on that, but we are trying e-commerce and trying to ship our organic hay in boxes to all over the United States to people that own small pets like rabbits and such. And so we're still pursuing that, still trying to figure it out. And so, you know, I understand from this and from other business types of activities that there's lots of things that can get in your way. Obviously, as has already been talked about, taxes must be kept low, red tape at a minimum, and I'm sure that we can reduce that. And also training is a big thing. So a lot of times I didn't know what I was doing. I needed some help. And so places like ECTC or other partnerships that we can develop can be very helpful, I believe. Thank you.
I want to apologize to the crowd. I had the rules right in front of me, and I didn't allow the opening statement. So luckily I'm a volunteer, and I won't get I won't get my pay docked. And I've told them in the beginning, I said, have Greg do this or have Bryce do this. And they said no. They said no, you do it. Okay, so I know it's in poor order, but Mr. Tall, if you'll start going the other way, if you'll do your 1 minute introduction and address to the crowd, I'd appreciate it, sir.
Well, again, my name is Keith Tall. I'm running for this judge executive position. I grew up here in Hardin County. I'm a Christian serving as an elder at our church, attempting to, and I am a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a farmer, a small farmer, I'm a businessman, engineer, and, well, I love to play the bass guitar, okay? I've been married to my wife, Megan, for 39 years, almost 39 years, and we chose to raise our 4 children here in Hardin County. I, like my opponents, have never been elected to office, and while this may appear to make us similar, I am the most conservative Republican candidate running in this race. I am 100% pro-life, pro-gun, pro-freedom, and physically conservative, and I'm pro-bacon. Okay, thank you.
Mr. London, please.
Thank you, Sam. You know, I've been blessed throughout my life to have a number of experiences. I started out, I grew up on a farm in Metcalfe County, a very rural farm. We dairy farmed and tobacco farm. We were quite poor. We didn't have much. In fact, I was an at-risk youth on free and reduced lunch. But what we did have was a love of God, a love of country, and a love of our community. And that has propelled me and driven me all my life to achieve something better and to serve my community and be a servant leader. I started out my service to my community as a volunteer fireman at the age of 14. I later became an EMT. I followed that up with 11 years, almost 11 years with U.S. Representative Ron Lewis, where I was able to work on a very important issue for this community, and that's base realignment and closure. I followed that on with 9 years working for the United States Army, where I spent 28 months in Afghanistan, where I volunteered as a civilian to go and serve my country in that capacity, where I managed almost 2,000 personnel and several $1 billion in equipment and personnel. In the last 5 years, I've been the Deputy Judge Executive in Hardin County, where we have put together efficiencies, public-private partnerships in the amount of $31 million. So I'm looking to continue that momentum and service to my community. Thank you.
And Mr. Barrett.
And I get to take the scissors on like you. I've had the privilege in my life. First of all, I had an electronics store in Louisville, grew up in Louisville, went to a Christian high school. Later on, married my first wife and had a horse farm over in Shelby County. I was on a volunteer fire department over in Shelby County. Then I've also been involved in the trucking industry. The Mid-America Truck Show, my first wife family owned. Then I've also, for the last 9 years, been working at the Hardin County Road Department. I've seen a lot of things go on here in the county that should be going on. I see a lot of things that needs to be changed. I'm just a common man, but I'm the man who understands the people, the small businesses, and what they do for the community, and all the emergency services as well. And I appreciate you, Stan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Okay, so we're back on track now. The next question will go to Mr. London. Mr. London, small businesses have recently had challenges not seen since World War II. Government lockdowns, a labor crisis, supply chain disruptions, and now runaway inflation. With the importance of small businesses to the local economies, what should our government do to help small businesses move forward, sir?
Well, there's a few things I want to talk about, Stan. Again, I've worked the last almost 5 years as Deputy Judge-Executive to make sure that we're able to keep taxes low in county government. In fact, this last budget session, fiscal court was able not to raise taxes again as a result of all the public-private partnerships and efficiencies we've been able to find in county government as a result of $31 million that we've been able to put together. So we've been able to keep taxes low while providing the services that our county government expects. Moving forward, I'd like to continue that momentum and building upon those public-private partnerships so that we can maintain that non-tax revenue coming into county government so that we can actually lower your taxes and not ever have to consider raising those. Furthermore, I think we ought to provide more assistance to small businesses. One of those, if you read the statistics, most small businesses fail within the first 5 years because that's the most crucial point. I'm going to propose that any small business up to 25 employees that opens in Hardin County, that we give them 5 years property tax abatement to help them get started, to make sure that we do everything we can to push them forward and propel them into success. I'm also going to propose that we provide 5 years of property tax abatement for anyone that's willing to provide jobs and rehab a building around the county that has been left vacant for 3 years. Again, that'll provide incentive to make sure that we build our economy, particularly with the economic tidal wave that's going to come to Hardin County as a result of Blue Oval SK. We have a unique opportunity to catch that wave and to raise the sail, and I want to make sure that everyone is in a position to take advantage of that.
Okay, and we have Mr. Tall.
Thank you. Yes, small businesses. I don't have the precise answer that would help the small businesses in this area. I would need to ask you, okay? I mean, that's the reason that I'm running is because of you. And I don't know all the specific issues that the small businesses are having. Owning my small business, I have a different set of problems than many of you. So what I would like to do would just go out into the community, me and the magistrates, and find out what are your issues. And then we can start to work through those and try to figure out what's best for each one that's struggling or ones that are trying to start up. And then we'll try to make some adjustments if the Hardin County government can do something to help you with partnerships, with training, with all kinds of different issues that you may have. We'll do what we can to help out. So that's what I would prefer to do rather than try to tell you what's best for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Tall. Mr. Barrett.
Again, the small businesses here in Hardin County I've seen to be very wonderful. But as Mr. Tall pointed out, nobody knows your business as you do. In every business, whether it be a sandwich business or whether it be a tractor sales implement business or whether it be a car dealership, everybody has a little bit different circumstances. The thing we need to do is to work with each and every one of y'all to have an ongoing relationship where we discuss problems that we have today and tomorrow. They'll never be the same or for every business be the same. But being of your Hardin County government, I will take and work with you to make sure that we change those statistics from where most small businesses fell in the first 5 years to where we have more small businesses succeed than any other place here in the state of Kentucky. It's going to take work. It's going to take teamwork between the government and the small businesses of Hardin County, but we can do it. We will do it. Thank you.
Barrett. Thank you. Mr. Tall, In the last 2 years, Northern County has lost extension services, including the license plate renewal office and the North Library branch. The Chamber also has closed its office in Radcliff. Some citizens believe that there has been an unfair distribution of county resources. How would you respond, sir?
That's a good question. Since starting this journey, I've spent quite a bit of time in Radcliff. I know not near enough time to understand all the issues, but these have been a few of the ones that I've heard the most, and I can understand why that would be a concern when you start to close offices like this. So I don't know all the reasons why that happened. One thing that I am sure of, that in my background as making improvements in engineering and solving problems, and trying to take waste out of processes, that you don't do that at the expense of the quality of the service that you're providing. So even though on the bottom line, I guess that's the only reason I can think of why you would do this, even if that has been helped in some way, made it more efficient, that doesn't mean that you do it. There's other ways to remove the waste out of the processes and make them more efficient without taking away some of these services. So I would be for looking at putting those back where they belong, and for the Radcliff residents and in Vine Grove and others in this part of the county.
Mr. Barrett.
Well, first of all, I believe every community needs its services, and I do believe, really in truth, we need a county clerk's office back here in Radcliff. We have strong people here that vote. They pay their taxes. They deserve to have convenient services here by them, without a doubt. Now, being that I'm not the county clerk, I don't know what reasons specifically brought by the close of it, but if I was the county judge, I would definitely work to see that it reopens and to overcome whatever problems it was to make it close. Now, we do not need services in Hardin County restricted, and I know how that is because not long ago, one of the people here in Hardin County running for Judge-Executive cut back on services to the county, where the county road department was mowing your county roads 4, going on 5 times a year. They got contracted out to being mowed only twice a year. Things like that don't need to go on in Hardin County.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Okay, so we have a question, again, start with Mr. Barrett here. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll remind you. I won't let you go on. I promise. So, well, I want to start with the clerk's office. You know, as I said, I worked almost 9 years for the Department of Army, and a few of those years was actually on Fort Knox. I have a personal experience with the clerk's office. I remember being able to take off for lunch and be able to come out and take care of my business to the clerk's office. So I remember how important that was to me. Because if I'd had to go to E-Town, I'd have to take 3 or 4 hours of leave. I can only imagine Mayor Ash from West Point and a few other friends from West Point are here tonight. I can only imagine how much of a struggle that is for them. Obviously, that decision will be decided in another race with the county clerk's race. But if a future county clerk, whether that's the incumbent or a new one, comes to me as judge executive, says, I want to open the clerk's office in Radcliff, I will 100% support it because I know the importance of it personally, and I will make sure that is resourced appropriately to make that happen. I want to address the library. In 1958, the citizens of Hardin County established a library board. It's an unaccountable board, no political accountability whatsoever. We have to fund that through the county as a result of a circuit court ruling that occurred in 1980. In order for us to make sure that library services return to Radcliff, which I believe they should, we're going to have to go back to the voters of Hardin County and ask them to eliminate that board. Because here's what could happen, is county government could, if it had it, give another $1 million to that politically unaccountable board, but they have no obligation and no way to force them to put a library back in Radcliff. It needs to be politically accountable to the citizens of Hardin County, not an unelected, unaccountable board, and I will ask the citizens of Hardin County to do that.
Thank you, Mr. London. Thanks for keeping me between the ditches, too. I appreciate it. The next question will be directed to Mr. Barrett first. Due to today's front-page article in the News Enterprise by Ben Sharon, we have this new question. Current Judge Executive Harry Berry took strong exception to comments posted on social media by candidate Keith Tall. These comments were related to the compensation for EMTs and paramedics working for our county EMS. Please share your thoughts on this hot topic.
Well, first of all services, as far as emergency services in Hardin County, deserve more money. Whether it be the road department, your fire departments, or whether your EMS, they all are below standard compared to a lot of your counties around. We need to concentrate doing better on finding ways to raise their pay, to raise their insurance. A lot of insurance. People work for a lot of jobs for the little extras. We need to provide better insurance for them with lower out of cost for them. All those things we need to work on. And I'm not going to say I've got all the answers today. I don't. But I know we can do better. Other counties do better. We will do better.
Very good. Next, we'll have Mr. London, please.
Thanks, Dan. I actually want to answer that question with a question. We have a lot of business owners here in the room tonight. How many of you are having zero trouble hiring right now? Any hands? All right, so in the last 3 years, have any of you had to pay more than you did prior to that 3 years? Anyone having to pay a lot more? We're suffering the same thing with Hardin County government. I was an EMT once. I couldn't be paid enough. And obviously, we value our frontline workers deeply. I would love to be able, I have a son-in-law who is an officer with EPD. I think he ought to be making $100,000 a year. But none of us want to pay the taxes that's going to require. And we're talking about small business tonight and keeping taxes low to do that. And that's the struggle. There's only so much sand, AKA tax dollars, in the sandbox that we can put into different pails. We've worked very hard with Hardin County EMS to get those rates up. We actually have a plan laid out to raise the pay rates to where EMTs and advanced EMTs will be #1 in the region. Paramedics will be second, third in that category. In addition, we're facing issues of echelons above us. Last year, Kentucky only graduated less than 500 paramedics. Out of 4,000 paramedics in the state of Kentucky today, less than 2,000 of them are working in EMS. It's a supply and demand issue. And when you have an issue such as that, you're in a bidding war. That's what causes inflation that we're seeing in businesses today. So we have our challenges, we're working through it, and we're going to make it through it. I promise you.
Thank you. Mr. Tall.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, hot topic. I think, I just hear a lot of excuses. That's basically what I hear. And I think I've been talking, and this is what I do in problem solving. You try to go out and you find other places that are doing it better than you, okay? And it's one of the things that we always work on. So benchmarking, right? That's what it's called. So I've already started that process. I've talked to another county that has 100% of their positions for EMTs and paramedics filled. So how did they do that? You know, their taxes aren't even as high as ours. So they have found a place, found a way, figured it out, right? And so that's what we would do. We would figure out how to do it. If I have to build it from the ground up, we will fix this EMS department in this county. It will have paramedics on the runs that it has to have them, and you'll get the service that you're supposed to get whenever you have a problem, a health problem. And so we'll work through it. I know how to do it. I've done it 100 times at plants and for similar types of issues. So we will work together, team up, and figure it out. I guarantee you that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Call. Mr. London, our state legislature is considering allowing cities and counties the ability to increase sales taxes. Do you support the granting of this authority for sales tax increases to all local governments?
I support local governments having the flexibility to do what they need to meet their needs. It's their decision. It should be their decision. If a mayor or a judge executive wants to stand before you and have the have the spine, I guess, or the stupidity to say, I'm going to raise your taxes, and let him have at it. But I would tell you that is certainly not where I want to go, and I've proven that the last 5 years, again, as Deputy Judge Executive. We've created efficiencies, public-private partnerships that have totaled approximately $31 million measured over 10 years. That's a huge advancement. We need to be going in the direction of finding new ways to do business, groundbreaking ways to doing business, and that's what we've done in Hardin County government. It's never been done before, and those non-tax revenue dollars is what should be funding county governments and city governments, not taxes, and that's what you'll get with my experience.
Thank you. Mr. Tall.
Yes. Well, taxes. Yes, I don't know about you, but I really hate income tax, and I don't like property taxes. I don't really like any tax. But if we have to, the thing that concerns me about allowing cities and counties to increase sales tax is that going to mean that we will tack that on top of what we're already paying? And I think the tendency would be there. So I would be concerned about how that would happen. So if we can increase the sales tax some and then take out the property tax, then I might want to look at it. But I think the tendency for people that are in office are to try to get more money, because that seems to be the answer to everything. If we're going to improve or increase your services in this county, well, we've got to increase the taxes, and that's not true. It's not true at all, and it's a thing that I have to deal with when I go into plants, and they say, no, we can't do that. We can't improve that quality of that particular product or service because that's going to cost more money. But no, you don't have to. We can stretch that tax dollar and make it go further, and there's lots of ways to do that. So I'm definitely against a sales tax if it means that it's tacked on top of what we're already paying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tall. Mr. Barrett.
Definitely no new taxes, no increase in taxes. Like I say, what we need on fiscal court is better management of our money. We pay out way too many taxes as it is, and as far as the county having the option to do it, no. Well, yes, honestly, there is a part of that, because I like for the county to be able to control themselves. I don't want the state to say we have to raise our taxes. I don't want them to raise our taxes on us. So if them voting that we have the option or whatever takes it away from them where they can't keep raising our taxes, then I go for it. But if it don't keep them from raising our taxes, shoot, no way in whatever. We, as small businesses, our profit margin is too small as it is. If you add a tax on it, with this hard economy we've got going on, it's going to make it rougher on our small businesses. We don't want to do that. We want to make it better for the small businesses and the people of Hardin County by keeping our taxes low, no new taxes, and no raises of taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Now we have a question for Mr. Tall. At the present time, mayors of our 3 largest cities in Hardin County, J.J. Duvall, Jeff Gregory, and Pam Ogden, are attempting to work together, which we, RSBA, certainly applauds. However, many in E-Town and Radcliff know there is often a lack of mutual respect and a resistance to cooperation between our county's cities. If elected county judge executive, what would you do to promote regional cooperation?
Yes, I've heard this mentioned a few times, and I don't understand it really. I guess there are things like pride or different things that can get in the way of working together. But I'm a big teamwork guy. I see problems solved with when people get in a room together and and figure out what the problem is to start with, and then try to work through it. So I'm probably not going to give you a very specific answer because I really don't know why the cities, why are we not working together? And I think it's an excellent question. And if it really is a problem, which it sounds like it is, then why not get in a room? And I would definitely participate in that and get us together, talk through what the issues are, and just work through them. You know, figure out what the improvements should be to make it better for all of us, because it'll help our whole county if we're all working together and not against each other. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So I would ask them, you know, what's the deal? Why are we not working together? And I'm not a person that sits around in the office. I'm gonna go out, you know, grew up on a farm. I get out and want to figure things out. So I would be out there in the county trying to understand it and try to help them and help all of us come up with a better or a resolution for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tall. Mr. Barrett.
I will share your concern about why having Hardin County Judge has not worked with the county city of Elizabethtown, the city of Vine Grove and stuff better. Back, an example of this was when the government building was being built. The city of Elizabethtown wanted to go in with the county government to build a building together where everything was more located centrally. Why they didn't do it, I don't know. To me, it would have made sense for the people of Hardin County to have everything all centrally located. If I'm your county judge, I will most definitely be working with the city of Vine Grove, city of E-Town, and the city of Radcliff, but also the city of West Point, down in Upton, Sonora. I've been at West Point. They're looking for getting funds for a new fire truck. There's other places in here. I want us all to pool our resources together to make Hardin County better. We can make Hardin County better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Our final question here will go. I'm sorry, I left you out again. I'm sorry.
I need a little bit of a Nerf gun for you, Stan. That's teasing. Well, I want to address this. This one is near and dear to my heart. I have a great relationship with the city officials across the board. I don't have to be introduced to those officials in each city. I don't have to be introduced to those leaders at Fort Knox. We work very well together. In fact, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. Sometimes I think Jeff Gregory and I work a little too well together because he feels too free to aggravate me and poke fun at me at times. The same thing with JJ. In fact, JJ and I had lunch a couple of months ago to discuss ways that we can work better in the future and some of the things that we can do together to take budgetary constraints off the city of Radcliff, and you'll see more of that later if I'm honored with this position. I will tell you this: I'm going to put someone on the spot and break a little news. In fact, one of my top staffers, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, will be a current city official, Marty Fulkerson, just to make sure that we have that connection with the cities and ensure that we keep and maintain relationships and do what is necessary. I'm going to say tonight, I am not a merged government fan at all, and you will never hear that out of my mouth. But what I do expect, I think taxpayers expect, that's us to work together, find efficiencies and ways that we can do business together to ensure that we save every taxpayer dollar that we can and have a strong relationship. I have relationships that transcend politics. In fact, I've received a lot of criticism over my relationships. Relationships matter. It matters at the local level. It's how you get things done. People expect us to work together, and that's what we'll do under my administration.
Thank you, Mr. London. The last question tonight, it will be directed to Mark Barrett. If elected as Hardin County Judge-Executive, as a Hardin County resident myself, what should I expect to be your top priorities representing me? Please name these priorities in order, and particularly as it relates to spending.
Well, first of all, if elected, you are hiring me to work for you. And to work for you, I have to make myself available for you. My first priority will be to move Hardin County Fiscal Court from 3:30 in the afternoon, which makes it hard for the working man, the small businessman, to get there to voice their concerns over issues. I'll be moving it to like 6 o'clock in the evening to make it a lot more possible for the people of Hardin County and the businesses of Hardin County to get there. Second of all, I want to work to improve our EMS and our Hardin County Road Department and our fire departments around by finding ways to help them. Communication, open transparency. We don't have enough of it despite it says that we do. Our meetings, not only of fiscal court, but our little committee meetings, I will open up to have the public there as well as having it put on line where people can see it. We want true transparency. We want true things for the government to do for the people, not the people to do for the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. London.
Do you mind to repeat that question for me, Stan? I want to make sure I get it right.
If elected as Hardin County Judge-Executive, as a Hardin County resident myself, what should I expect to be your top priorities representing me? Please name these priorities in order, particularly as it relates to spending.
Sure. So this is what I see as the top three priorities right now in county government. The first thing, with Blue Oil West K and the wave of economic development that we're going to have in this county, we have to update our comprehensive plan. This occurred with the city of Elizabethtown this past year. We need to follow suit in the county. In fact, we plan to do that beginning this fall. It is time for the citizens and stakeholders to have their say in exactly what this county should look like in terms of growth, where that growth should happen, and what it should look like. To follow that on, we need to focus again on emergency services. We need to follow that on with a study that tags to our that benchmarks to our comprehensive plan to make sure that we get fire and EMS placed in the right places within the county and develop hopefully what will be some partnerships with the cities to make that happen. In addition, we have to increase our law enforcement capabilities across the county. The Sheriff's Department now is answering 3 out of 4 law enforcement calls, whereas the state police used to answer 3 out of 4. That liability has fallen to the county. Our Sheriff's Department right now doesn't even have cameras in their cars, let alone body cams. We've corrected that in fiscal court. We need to increase our number of officers. We need to increase our EMS services. We need to increase our fire services. In my first budget, I'm going to ask fiscal court to take money from the hospital sale and retire our county debt. That will free up almost $2.5 million per year that we can put back into law enforcement, emergency services, and make it world-class for this county. And we will do that and make this exactly what it needs to be in terms of service to the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. London. Mr. Tall.
Well, I think you've already heard one of my passions that has really become that in the last couple of months after I found out about it is the EMS, the emergency services. This will be my first priority. I know that there are 5 to 6 ambulances out there, and the county this size is not sufficient. So we're going to have to spend more money in this area. There's no way around it. Our EMTs, the paramedics are not being paid near enough. So there are some things that we need to do. There's also their work environment, I'm hearing over and over, isn't very good either. So you can try to, I can talk to you about that later if you want. So these are things that are going to have to be taken care of, and we'll make that world-class very quickly. The next one, it's already been mentioned a little bit, but transparency is one that I'm very passionate about as a problem solver. We can't solve problems unless we know about them, and they're very easy to see for everyone. The people that are working in the departments, the citizens, everyone. Very open government, very transparent, open meetings, open budget, open spending, open organizational charts, open salaries, no secrets, okay? That's the way it should be, right? And so that'll be the next one. I will mention industrial solar. Some of you may not know much about that, but that is one that I am very, very concerned about. If it comes into our community, it takes about 7,000 of our prime agricultural land, it will be bad for this county. And I can explain that more later if you're interested in it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tall. And now we come to our 2-minute closing statements where you can address the fine group that we have here. Mr. Tall, you'll be the first.
All right, it's over. Almost over. So I not only grew up here, but I chose to return home to Cecilia to raise my children. I love it here in Hardin County. It's a place where I will more than likely die. And so I am committed to this place. It's the reason I'm running is because of my love for this place, my love for the citizens of this county. And we chose to stay here in spite of many opportunities I had to move up in the organization that I was working in for work types of things. So I didn't want to leave. And so I'm committed to Hardin County, and I want to do what I can to improve the necessary services with minimal tax burden. So part of the vision is continuous improvement of county services, which I have 35 years of experience in doing that, not in government, in private industry, but I know the principles all work, and I will be able to apply those with the help of those around me. And so I can utilize the very capable people leading all areas of this government, establishing a clear and responsible bar for excellence. So part of it is understanding what these goals need to be, not down here, but up here, so that we can make some improvements, track the current status that will be visible for everyone, all the time. So Hardin County, it will be the best county in Kentucky. I have no doubt about it, to freely worship our God, to raise our families, to enjoy life. So there is hope for a brighter future, and I want to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. London.
Thanks, Stan. I've told my campaign staff and my supporters since the beginning, I want to do, my focus is a positive future for Hardin County. We're not looking backwards, we're looking forward. And I said this at my announcement speech, I don't give two buffalo biscuits about your politics. What I care about is your love for community. That's what this is about. I have a deep love for this community. I have served it. We have, in the last 5 years, we have done so much for county government, for taxpayers of this community. $31 million in efficiencies and new revenue streams that do not include taxes. We have an opportunity here in the future with Blue Oval SK, with Nucor, to take advantage of an economic tidal wave that's going to hit this community. It is absolutely important to have someone at the helm of that ship with experience, a steady hand to guide it, to make sure that the waves do not crash against this great ship that we have. I want that opportunity to lead it. I ask you to join my team and look forward, look to the positive future. Focus on what we are the best at and what makes us great. We are on the world stage now with Blue Oval SK. It is absolutely important that we put our best foot forward. The world is watching us. This is not a time to do anything but be 100% successful. If given the opportunity to serve you, I promise you I will lead you effectively. I will set the example. I will make you proud, and we will have a very bright future to make sure that this economic tide raises everyone's boat from Sonora to West Point. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Barrett, you have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. We've heard a lot of good talk today. Talk is cheap, action is where it's at. I also say this, I put it in writing things I do. Hardin County is the best county in the whole state of Kentucky, and I believe it with my heart. The people here, I believe in. I have here, first of all, a pledge. Everybody talks about no taxes and stuff. I got a pledge here I'm asking all of these candidates to sign. I'll sign it here in front of you. Of no new taxes, no raising of taxes for the next 4 years. They talk about economic wave. I've seen so many times people get a lottery winning. Next thing you know, they're broke. We need to be more conservative and careful than ever with this economic wave that comes through. We've got to be very transparent. We've got a great county. We can make it better. It will be better. I ask each and every candidate also to pledge that they'll not have a salary increase their entire time in office. I will sign that. People of Hardin County says these candidates, they all say they love you. Well, let's put it in writing. No new taxes, no raising of taxes, and no new raises in salary. Thank you. Look forward to serving you for the next 4 years.
Before I release these gentlemen to stretch their legs and move about, I just want us all to give them a big hand and thank them for coming here today. We now have our time coming up for stump speeches. They're three minutes long, and it's of candidates that are coming up in the primary. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mr. Barrett's microphone, and I'm going to offer that to the person coming up. And first off, from the House of Representatives race, District 26, we have Derrick Mcallister. Derrick Mcallister, please join us.
Thank you. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the invitation to be here. Radcliff Small Business Association, I thank you. I just want to say thanks to all of the uniformed personnel out there as well. I think they're just...
Be quiet. Give them any chance to say something.
Thank you. As I was saying, thank you so much for all the uniformed personnel. Thank you for having me. I'm joining this race to feel like I'm helping out my community. Closer to the mic. Mike? All right. I'm running this race to feel like I'm helping my community out. I feel like it's time to step up, do something. I feel like that there's a lot of things that we can do better. Not that things are so sideways, but I think there is always room for improvement. And I think from outside looking in, I'm confident that I can do that, and I appreciate the opportunity. This is just an introduction to me. I'm not going to get into specifics and all of that. On my website, KY Rep Derrick, that's D-E-R-E-K, I put my phone number, my cell phone number out there. So you feel free to give me a call if you have questions about what I stand for, what I believe in, and I'd love to hear from any and all. So again, this is just an introduction for myself, and I appreciate it so much. I'm not going to go too far, too much further. So I think that's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. McAllister. And next we have Russell Weber, please. Mr. Weber, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Appreciate all the enthusiasm and folks turning out tonight for a candidate forum on a Thursday night to hear the issues discussed. I'm Russell Weber. I'm currently the state representative for the 26th Legislative District. I represent portions of Bullitt and Hardin counties. I live in Bullitt. I'm in my 5th term, running for my 6th term in the May 17th Republican primary. Some of the questions that came up tonight, particularly related to small business, kind of led me in the direction to talk about what I've done in the General Assembly, particularly in the last 2 legislative sessions, for small businesses in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So this past session, I was able to shepherd through the process, and the bill went to the governor's desk, and he signed it last week, where we will freeze the unemployment insurance taxes for all businesses in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This will be a savings to businesses across the state to the tune of $190 million, with the average increase for small businesses being about $70 per employee. In addition to that, we've in the last 14 years have seen the unemployment trust fund decimated. The federal government tells us we need $1 billion in that account for solvency. We have not reached solvency since 1974, and only one other state has a worse record than Kentucky, and that's the state of Pennsylvania. Well, this past legislative session, in that bill, we mandated and pushed and I insisted that we take federal ARPA money. We had a lot that came into the state of Kentucky. There were a lot of people that wanted to spend a lot of money fast and quick. We took $242 million of that federal ARPA money, and we put that in the unemployment trust fund, and we brought that fund back up to pre-pandemic levels. So we have about $560 million in that account, and that is all designed to move Kentucky forward, because I will tell you, earlier in this evening when someone asked about those that are searching for employees, that is the number one issue that I deal with as chairman of the House Economic Development and Workforce Investment Committee. I hear from folks all over the state, they cannot find employees. When we have 53% of Kentuckians engaged in the workforce, that is an issue that we have to address, and we have to incentivize folks to return and get back into the workforce. And that is a key area that I've been working on in the General Assembly, and I will continue to work on in the General Assembly. I have 30 seconds left, according to Barry. We had a great legislative session. We have 2 days left. Those are our veto override days. I have the honor of having had 3 of my bills vetoed by the governor, and we've managed to override all 3 of them. So I've got a good track record, but I'm looking forward to it. Feel free to reach out to me. My district has changed. I will be representing the city of West Point and the Southeast Radcliff precinct in Hardin County, and I unfortunately have lost all the other precincts that I had over the last 8 years. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weber. So for Kentucky House of Representatives, District 25, we now have Bill Bennett. Come back to this side, please. Yes, sir, Mr. Bennett.
Hey guys, let's give a round of applause for Barry and the RSBA. What a good turnout, great group. I don't think I've seen this many people in a forum before, and in fact, it looked like we lost a third or half of the people already, and it's still packed. Well, somebody asked me the other day, well, Bill, aren't you and Steve Bratcher friends? Why are y'all running against each other? Well, the truth is, we didn't know each other was running. We didn't know that. He didn't know I was running, and he didn't know I was running, and so forth. And the strange thing is, I've supported him for constable, and he supported me for city council. In fact, he stuck signs out in his yard for me when I ran for city council. So they were asking me, aren't y'all going to go head-to-head and really duke it out? I said, no, Steve's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. And I told the person this, the truth is, Steve Bratcher will be the second best state district representative for Hardin County. But either way, whether Steve wins or I win, I can tell you this. One of us will win the general election. Why? Because we're true conservatives. We're not pseudo-conservatives. We're pro-life, pro-gun, really the left-wing extremists, if you watch the news, it seems like they're taking over the country. In fact, it's gotten so crazy, the lady who is running for Supreme Court could not even give you the definition of a woman. Now, my background is biochemistry and microbiology, and I can tell you this with 100% clarity. You do not need to be any of those things to describe what a woman is. Okay? You don't need that. But, so what is it? Why am I running for the 25th district? Well, I'm from Hardin County. I'm a Hardin County native. I love Hardin County. In fact, I love Hardin County so much I wrote a history book. Okay? In fact, Ron Lewis is over there. He's in it. Ron, did you finish reading the book yet? I'm going to give you a test, okay? So I love Hardin County that much. In fact, I've traveled all of Hardin County. I've ridden through the roads that some of you don't even know exist. I get on my motorcycle and go through the holler some of y'all wouldn't even dare go through. But I love Hardin County, and whether I serve or not, if I do serve and I'm going to stop serving one day, I promise you I will not move to another state. The laws I pass will be the laws that I live with, just like you, okay? I will stand and represent for the conservative values, always. And everybody knows when I was on the city council, my conservative track record. In fact, my slogan is a proven conservative track record of leadership and success. Everything I've done, I've been successful in. Not because it's easy, because I worked hard, okay? One more thing. If you look at the new redistricting, there's 5 state reps. Only 1 state rep actually lives in Hardin County. All the other state reps will live in other counties. Now, that's not knocking down Mr. Weber and the others. Mr. Weber's a great guy. He's done a great job in Frankfort. But what I'm saying is this. As the 25th district representative, I will not only represent the 25th district, but I'll represent all of Hardin County. Because that's how much you guys mean to me, whether you live in Radcliff, Upton, Sonora, Glendale, Hardinsburg, you name it, Youngers Creek. If you need help, I will be there for you. And I will represent the conservative values of Hardin County. Thank you.
So now we welcome Mr. Steve Bratcher. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I hadn't talked to Bill for about 10 years till this race, so it's good to know that that maybe I'll get his vote whenever he's coming to the election, right? So my name is Steve Bratcher, running for 25th. I've been in Elizabethtown for over 20 years now. I got an Air Force background. I know that there's a lot of Army guys in here, but so I still serve in the Air Force, Air National Guard, and so I'm very familiar with domestic operations such as COVID relief, riots, hurricane reliefs, tornadoes, things like that. So I also work over at Elizabethtown Community College in the Workforce Solutions. So what we do is we go out and we support small businesses, and we help provide training and get grants for small businesses to be able to train their employees. So those are some of the things that I do in my background. I've spent a lifetime of service to the community, not only through the Air Force and the Air National Guard, but through coaching soccer, through being a constable, to serving on the board at Central Hardin High School, as well as being a small business owner. So I'm a real estate broker. I am also just opened a small assisted living community that's focused on Alzheimer's and dementia care. So I know all the challenges of having employees and the challenges of talented medical people to come over and help care for those people. And so what recently just happened was House Bill 8 was just passed by the House and the Senate, and it's sitting on the governor's desk now for approval. And what that does is that eliminates the income tax for Kentucky by 0.5% over a year to zero over each year. In 8 years, it'll be zero, given that the revenue is increased each year. So that's sitting there now. So that's some of the type of things that we need for small business to help support that, and that gives a lot more money to the employees that we're trying to hire. So when you go to the polls and you think about me, I've got the background of not just the military leadership, but I've also got the educational background from working and teaching at a community college in business, combined with a master's degree in business, combined with owning my own small business, plus the educational side. So from coaching soccer and developing people all the way from when they're youth, from when they're kids all the way up through to now I'm teaching at the community college. So one of the things we did at the community college I was instrumental in developing the coding academy, where we're training young people to learn how to do coding on computers, and they're learning coding, and after 16 weeks getting jobs making $50,000 and $60,000 a year. So I mean, that's pretty impressive. If I was 19 and 20 years old making that, I don't know where I'd be now. So I appreciate your all's consideration whenever it's time for the election, and If you have any questions, please, I'm available. There's also some pamphlets on the back that have a contact number for me, as well as other ways you can contact me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bratcher. We have a very interesting race, District 8 Magistrate race, and I'm going to introduce Marcella Gooden. She's the Republican running. There's 2 Republicans running. Yep. So is Marcella not with us? Okay, and I'll introduce the other Republican in the race, which is Kenny Muse. No? Okay. Well, we'll introduce, how about Stan Holmes? I'm gonna get someone up here, Stan. Stand right back here, better camera. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. If you don't know who I am, ask me what my name is, and I'll be glad to tell you. It is Stan Holmes, and I'm running for magistrate in the 8th District. Darn it. I'm a school teacher, so I'm used to walking around the classroom, all right? So when you restrict me, it's kind of hard. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I'm going to tell you guys, all night long, they kept saying, Stan, Stan, Stan. I started to walk up here early, but Stan knows me and his name is the same, so I get a little confused sometimes. So, but I'm running for magistrate in the 8th District, which is part of Ronnieville and part of Vine Grove and a little bit other on the south end of that area as well. What I'm doing here and who I am, I served in Radcliff for 14 years as city councilman here. 2 of those terms, I was the mayor pro temp. I have experience in many different areas. I'm a small business owner myself. I'm an educator. I'm a minister at one of the local churches here in town. I'm a father. I'm married to a wonderful woman by the name of Pamela Holmes for the past 34 years, John. She's put up with me that long, and I'm grateful for that. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I do and care about the most is the people of this county. I'm not interested in just a portion of it. I may be running for just a portion of it, but when elected, I'm looking for working for all of Hardin County because that's the way it should be. It's not just a portion, but it's all of Hardin County that we should be working for. What are we looking to do? We're looking to make sure that change continues to happen in this county. And I can tell you one thing. As a member of the team, I'll be glad to be able to work ready and be ready on the very first day. There's no doubt in my mind. I know where to lead. I know how to lead. But most importantly, I know how to follow as well. And I can listen to the ideas of the people, and I can take those ideas and bring them to the table and make them work for you. I know I'm running out of time, but I want to tell you this. If nothing else, remember, I'll be a voice for you. I'll be the vision in this county to make it happen so that change can be developed, and I'll be the decision maker at the table to help make change continue to be forceful and moving this county forward. And we'll do that together as the team that we have here in Hardin County. I thank you for your time, and I ask for your vote on May the 17th for magistrate of the 8th District. I'm number 1 on the ticket. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan. And now we have, also for the District 8 magistrate position, we have candidate Gary King. You're welcome. Stand back here, better camera.
See, Stan, you caused me to have to stand on this spot because you were moving around too much. Folks, I'm Gary King. I am the magistrate representing the 8th District. The 8th District includes all of Vine Grove, huge part of Ronnieville and the outlying areas. I am very honored to have held that position for quite some time. I thank the voters for electing me. Who am I? Well, as I said, I'm Gary King. I am a retired school teacher at North Hardin, James T. Alton, and East I am a former football coach. I was head football coach at East Hardin, assistant football coach at North. So I've been around this community a long time. Now, why am I running? I'm running because I believe there needs to be a continuity on the fiscal court. 4 magistrates are going to be brand new coming to Hardin Fiscal Court. There will be a brand new judge executive. Somebody needs to be there that knows what's going on. I'd like to be one of those folks that's going to be there. I'd like to continue as a magistrate for this district. One thing you can get from me is that I'm not political. I'm not a great speaker, and I'm not political. Once this election is over, one thing you can expect, politics will be over. To the best of my knowledge, since I've been on fiscal court, we have never had a decision made based on politics. And we should never have that. We don't need Washington politics in Hardin County, Kentucky. We don't need Frankfort politics in Hardin County, Kentucky. The magistrates and the judge in Hardin County ought to make decisions based on what's best for Hardin Countyans, not what's best for Frankfort, not what's best for Washington, but what's best for the citizens of Hardin County. That's what I promise you with every vote that I make in fiscal court. That's what I've always done. A little bit about my family. I should have said that first, but I forgot. I'm married to Teresa Ashley King. Teresa was born and raised in Vine Grove, Kentucky. Been there all of her life. She is the daughter of Charles and Chivy. Been around Hardin County about all their lives also. We have one son. He works in Vine Grove. I live in Vine Grove. I go to church in Vine Grove. I bank in Vine Grove. I'm in Ronnieville a lot. I live, work, and represent my district. I'm there all the time. You can reach me anytime in Vine Grove or Ronnieville. Folks, I need your vote. May 17th, magistrate in the 8th District. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. King. I want to remind everyone that along the perimeter of the room, we have some great candidates for other positions that didn't get to speak tonight. I hope that you're able to go and meet them and learn more about their positions, maybe pick up some brochures, some information, and they're going to be influencers for all of us at the regular election that's coming this fall. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for our patience. I want to thank RSBA for putting this on. I want to thank all the volunteers that have spent many, many hours to make sure everything was set up. Colvin Center did a great job, Mr. Jenkins, of course, and Hardin County Communications. And if there's nothing more to be said tonight, just please go out May 17 and have your voice heard. Thank you very much for your patience with me, and thank you very much for coming tonight.